Hello and welcome back. Today we're in the office. So, just a small room with a floor, you can see, making an upstairs part to the office. Unfortunately I didn't do any video of how I created the floor or indeed the wall. So what I'll do today is just have a look at something upstairs. We've got two lights I want to put up. So let's go and have a look, see how we can fix these lights. And I think the plan is, up here you could probably just see coming out of the roof is the supply for the lights. So what I want to do, ideally, I don't know if you can see that now from here, from the steps, is put two of these lights up here on the beam, and then work out some funky way of getting the cables to the lights without it looking terrible. So first things first, let's fix the lights in the places where we want them to be. Shot. Now the cable coming out for the supplies there, I want something to go along there and into these lights. It looks half decent. I don't think just tacking a cable will look any good at all. Right, well, let's go to the DIY shop. Right, we're here, Mr. Bricolage, the local brico-marché. So let's go in, see if we can find what we need. Obviously, I'll wear a mask. we're back. This is what we got. We got some 10mm copper, 2 bits. Might not need all of them, but might as well have it just in case. It's a long way to go if we don't. And we got some clamps. So you screw those in, and they've got a thread on the end, and then you screw the head on to form the clamp afterwards. And some bends and a T. Let's see what we can do with those. First thing we've got to do is just have a look where this is gonna. This is gonna go. See if it's long enough. Yep, that'll be long enough. Right, first thing we're going to do is measure the distance between the centre of this light, so we know how long to make it. And then at what point do we need the T-piece, because it's not in the middle, for the pipe. 173. That's our first cut. So again, that needs to be centre where it goes up. So 47 is to there, and then just mark where it fits in to the fitting. And that's where. Let's do our first cut. Right. And now we'll do I'm just going to do a second measure. Measure twice. Cut once. As my old dad used to say, all the time. Literally all the time. So what I'm going to do is cut this. Find our mark. Just there. Right, I've cut 3 little bits of copper, 1 in each end, and then 1 to go up the middle. But we need a way of getting the cable down once we've soldered this all up, because feeding it down and getting it around these corners is going to be impossible. So what we've got is a bit of over here they have it in the conduit for pulling cables through plastic conduit. It's made of metal, and it's important that you do use metal one, because if you use plastic when we solder this, it's going to melt. You don't have to solder this, by the way. If you put all the cables in first, you can just use super glue, and that will do just as well. Let it all go off, and you can put the cables in beforehand, but I just want to do soldering on this, so you can see bits of solder at the joints, so it looks like a proper water pipe. But if you weren't bothered with that, you could quite easily use super glue. So what we're going to do is feed this metal cable down from one end to the other, so it comes out of the bits that we want it to. 1 at each end coming up the centre. Reassemble it all, straighten it out and solder it. So let's put this cable in first. Okay, we can do that when we come to solder it. We'll start at this end, solder this joint, this one, and then that one. Straighten it up, keeping it flat. This is a really flat surface, so we want to keep it as flat as possible, and we'll see why when we get it up on the beam. We'll take one from left to right, take it one step at a time. Normally for soldering, we'd probably use something like this. This is a map gas one, but you're probably looking €80, maybe more for this setup. Not necessary for this, so I'll put that away. This you can buy, or for kitchen work, I don't know what you do with it in the kitchen. It's all strange talk, that. But for this kind of thing, you can buy them at John Lewis, B&Q, Amazon, eBay, €20, if that. And they just fill up with normal gas lighter refills. And that'd be perfectly acceptable for this size pipe, 10mm. Shouldn't be a problem. All you need now is some solder. And some flux. Flux is just goes on the copper to make sure the solder sticks to it. I'll show you that when we do it. If you don't want it, all of this stuff you can buy from B&Q for hardly any money. It doesn't have to be this type of flux, can be any. And that's probably quite thick, that, but it's just what I've got to hand. So let's see what we're going to do. But if we're working with flames, you've got to wear all the protective equipment. You need something fireproof. Right, let's go. Not really. Anyway, where were we? I'll take this out. I want to make sure the solder sticks to this. So these are good little sanding pads, very fine grit. Better than wire wool in my opinion. You can get everywhere. There you go. Couple of turns. Lovely. And then what you need to do is ideally use a brush for this. I've got a pair of those, what are they called? Man hands. So it goes in there like that. Do the same here with this one. Clean it up. That's it. Now I've got a heat mat here, but if you did this outside on a patio or even a scrap piece of wood or anywhere you like, as long as it's flat, it won't be a problem. Heat it up until it starts to change colour. As soon as that starts melting, there we go. You can see it's been sucked into the joint. Let that cool off. Okay, and then that's going to be really hot, so be careful. Just get a damp cloth, cool it off, but also to get rid of any of the flux that's still on there, because that's quite corrosive. Oh yeah, don't get any of it on your clothes. As I say, super glue will probably be a better DIY option than this. Who wants to take the easy way, eh? Right, so I'm going to do exactly the same on that one, and then turn the camera back on and see. Oh, look at that! Look what I've done. Right, hold on. This shows you this is unscripted. Look down in there. I don't know if you can see that. Look. No. I've got this on the wrong way. So this is supposed to be that way. No problem. Good job this doesn't have to carry any water. Right, I've just cut off the conduit, it's just inside there, but it means that we can test fit that. I've taken the lights off, but still got the bracket, so you can still work out where the sensor of the lights are going to be. So we want to put this in place. Like that. Okay, so you can see I've got the clips in there to that one. It's a bit wonky, but we'll adjust this from the angle of the drill. We can't get the drill in straight enough, but we can adjust that with a special adjusting tool. Let's have a look. Awesome. Okay, so what we need to do now is mark. Hold on. So this comes down, but we want the wire, it'll be held straight like that. But we want the wire to do another 90 degrees across there and straight into the side of the lamp. Right, so we know that the orientation is critical on this, but we know that we need that to go pretty close to there, then a couple of mil pointing up like that, and then a piece of copper pipe. Probably what we cut off there will be enough, I think. So I'll just cut that, put the elbow on, make sure it's 90 degrees up, yeah, and solder it in. Right now you're probably thinking, what is he doing? What is he doing that for? Well, the flux that we used for the soldering is highly corrosive. It eats into the copper. It will also eat into quite a lot of other stuff, especially clothes. But we can't have it in there with the wires, and it'll eventually eat through this copper anyway. So the only way to get it out is flush it out, because it is water soluble. However, I failed to take into account that it's freezing today, so I don't even know if water will come out of this pipe. We'll find out. The answer to that is no, it doesn't. I have to find another way of doing it. Right, I'm going to get wet here, I can tell. We want to make this look pretty good, so the easiest way is use really fine sandpaper sheet like this. This is good because it's got foaming, and just go over everything. You can see that, how dull this all looks here. As soon as you just rub it flat with a bit of sandpaper. Look how shiny that looks, and it also shines up the solder as well. It gives it a grey look, which is what I want. You won't see this bit, this is on the wrong side, but you get the idea. So that's the bit you will see where it goes into the light. You can see from all the work we've been doing, it's start to oxidise, tarnish. As soon as you, really doesn't take that much actually. There you go. That's what I want. So the problem is copper will oxidise, tarnish quite quickly. So you've got to put something on top of it to stop it from oxidising. There's a long list of stuff you can use. Everything from PVA wood glue mixed with water, brushed on, to varnish, clear varnish of any kind, matte or shiny. I just happen to have some car lacquer, so I'm just going to spray this and let it go off. Okay, while the lacquer's drying on that, should dry quite quickly I think, we're going to look at putting the cables in. You can buy single strands of cable. In fact, let me get one and you can have a look. Yes, it's like magic. So, single strand cable with insulation, but the problem with that is it's just too thick. This is 2.5mm used for sockets here. Inside conduits you have a red, blue, green and yellow. In the UK it would be brown instead of red. That's too big. We need to get 6 bits of cable through that 10mm pipe, so that's too big. We do 1.5mm, which actually is a lot thinner, but you still probably wouldn't get 6 down the pipe. And what we're going to do is go to the DIY shop and buy some flex, and this is 3-core flex, 0.75 millimeters. We're going to throw this bit away so we can just cut the end off with a Stanley knife just to get it started. So this is the best way, or the thinnest way, to get something or wires through a conduit, is to solder them together, sharp bits. Hopefully, now then, in theory, yes. So we've got all the cables in. I have a neutral to one end, one amp, and I have a neutral to the other. But we said we were going to use the copper pipe as the earth now. I've cleaned off this bit of pipe here, used one of the pipe clamps. Zero resistance. That's good. Means we get a good circuit for the earth. Right. Whoa, this is not going to be easy. Let's get one in to hold it, if we can. Okay, so there's my earth clamp, and then I've connected the reds and browns. Right, I have, these are the lights, I don't know if you can see that. I've marked where centre, pretty much where I would like the hole to be on both. Quick drill, probably 11mm, 12, if I don't have that, 10. That's how we get on. Okay, it's almost impossible to film because it's so tight. You can probably see in there, it comes through into the lamp. We've got our cables there. Just need to connect those up and then screw it back to the bolts, and that's one done. I don't know if I can record this bit because it's too fiddly. I'll show you what it's like once it's connected up. Right, that's all connected up. You can see you've got a clamp for our earth on the end of the pipe, and then our connectors there. So all we've got to do now is put it all back together and do the other one. I guess should see if it works. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Why not just throw a plug on it like normal people? Well, why do that when you've got a safe block from the 1960s lying around? Back to the 60s. Alright. Literally nothing could go wrong here. Let's plug it in and see what happens. Overall, I'm quite pleased with the results. It's an overly complicated way of doing it, totally over-engineered, but I think it fits in, didn't cost a lot, and it's better than just clipping the cables up. Thanks for watching.